Here are a few practical habits that most experienced oil painters have and that you can start implementing in your studio today to immediately elevate the quality of your work. The number one is preparing the right medium. Most beginners don't use any medium, and sometimes it shows. The paint feels dry, doesn't flow properly. And if you don't know what it does, a medium controls the flow, the transparency, and the drying time of your paint. Very often, a simple liquid that you add to your paint is the difference between amateur-looking results and great oil painting with gloss and depth. Every master in history had their own secret sauce, tailored to their style. The thing is, there is no secret formula to rule them all. It's all about finding what's best for your technique. Let me take an example using my own experience with liquid. And maybe you like liquid, which is one of the best ready-to-use mediums. Then by all means, use liquid. It's just, I'm gonna share my experience. It's a great medium. But I'm personally not a fan, although I find it super useful for its drying time, but the consistency is not really working well with my painting style. In my hands, liquid feels too transparent, jelly-like, it feels like jellyfish juice, really, and I can't make it work the way I want to. To use liquid effectively, I would need to adopt a different painting style, so it's not optimal for me. It's still a great medium. See, each artist has their own unique touch, and the medium is like a signature formula that makes this touch possible. So what you want to do is you want to hunt for what is specifically yours in a medium. You want to find what gives you the best results according to your own unique touch. What feels the most natural and pleasant to paint with. So what you want to do is you want to create samples, test different ratios of oil, solvent, use resins if you want, experiment and see how the paint responds, try different formulas. If you don't know where to start exactly, you can start with a classic, a simple recipe. 1/3 linseed oil with 2/3 mineral spirits, odorless mineral spirits. This will create a lean, reliable foundation that you can then adjust as you learn. Maybe use linseed stand oil instead of linseed oil, which is a different kind of oil. It's a more syrupy, more honey-like consistency linseed oil. That is the thing that I use personally. I find it more glossy, has a better sheen, it's more level when you paint. So I find it more reliable than linseed oil, like normal linseed oil. But maybe you want to try different kinds of oils, see how they work, see how they flow, see if you like it better, if you like the feel of the medium under your brush. And I can't really say what's best for you. I like using 1/3 linseed stand oil with 2/3 odorless mineral spirits. And what I do is I make several versions, 5 little bottles that I use at different stages of the painting, from very lean to very fat. But this is my formula, what works for me. It has advantages that outweigh the inconvenience for me, but maybe not for you. Fortunately, there are thousands of options out there, so you just need to find what's right for you, and don't get discouraged if you can't achieve good results. Maybe your medium is working against you. If you need help figuring out the essentials such as surface preparation, brushwork, paint preparation, mediums, and so many other things, you can check out my oil painting course, The Practical Guide to Oil Painting. It's designed to help both beginners and intermediate painters and comes with detailed demonstrations exploring portrait, still life, and landscape. If you want to learn more, just follow the links in the description below. Number 2, you want to prepare your canvas with great care. Most ready-to-use canvases you buy at the local art store are often disappointing. They are frequently too scratchy, too absorbent, and the canvas weave is so prominent that it fights your brushwork every step of the way. It's like very unpleasant looking. So maybe you're struggling and it isn't even your fault. Maybe your canvas is the culprit here. A pro artist knows that preparing the surface is half of the battle, and I think that it's something relatively easy to do that all beginners should attempt. And you might think, hey, I'm just starting, I'll probably make a mess and throw it away. So my strategy is to get the cheapest canvas available just to practice first, and I'll switch to something better when I feel more confident. Sounds like a plan, but it's a bad plan. It's like saying, hey, since I'm just learning how to play the guitar, well, I'll just play this one out of tune because who cares, right? No, your canvas is your main instrument and you need to tune it well. You need to tune it properly. And same thing, it's the same thing as with the medium. It has to be tuned to the way your hand plays. That's why I typically recommend starting your first practice paintings on gessoed MDF panels. They're small, cheap, reliable, and convenient. And you then only need to invest in good artist quality universal gesso, and you will learn how to give it the right texture, how to give it 2 to 3 nice coats of gesso with gentle sanding in between. It will take a little bit of prep time, but you will get something that will be infinitely better. To get that professional buttery glide on store-bought canvas, you should at least gesso it or re-gesso it before painting. Even if it's been gessoed before in the store, you want to re-gesso it yourself before painting. You want to apply a layer or 2 of a high quality artist gesso that you really like, or maybe better, an oil painting primer, sanding lightly between layers. This will get rid of the distracting grid-like pattern on the fabric, create a smooth, non-porous surface that will allow the paint to sit on top of the canvas rather than being sucked into it. Number 3, toning the canvas to kill the white. Most pro artists rarely start on a stark white canvas. This is called the white scream of a fresh surface. It makes it very hard to judge the values properly, because compared to a white, everything looks very dark against a white. That often leads to paintings that don't really have great values. The problem with that is that a painting without great values is not a great painting. Now, don't get me wrong, it's possible to paint on white directly, and I've done that in the past, but I would say that it's twice as difficult. The habit of doing an imprimatura, or wiping a thin, transparent wash of a neutral earth tone over the canvas before starting, can be a game changer for every beginner. Because if you want to start with white as the background, it will be twice as difficult. So just reduce the level of difficulty simply by giving a middle value ground that will allow you to see both your highlights and your shadows accurately from the very first marks. It's a simple thing that can be done in 5 minutes. Simply take an earth tone of your choice. Usually raw umber is the most classical one. Just dilute it with odorless mineral spirit and give it a nice wash on the canvas before you start. Very simple, and the rest of the painting will be much more simple as well, much easier to manage. Now, a habit that most pro artists have is that they are used to the ugly phase. Every masterwork goes through a stage where it looks absolutely terrible. Usually about halfway through the process, it's the ugly phase. The only difference is that a pro artist, an experienced artist, knows that the ugly phase is just temporary and doesn't panic. Beginners often get discouraged when the ugly phase hits them because they can get stuck in this phase. This is the drama. They either give up or they start doing something not necessary to fix it when it doesn't need to be fixed, it just needs to be done. In the Renaissance, they had a painting stage for the skin coloration that's called dead color layer. You're painting with dead colors, so it's pretty ugly if you think about it, but you just paint this layer, let it be kind of ugly, looks like a dead corpse, and then paint some real flesh on top of that once it's dry. It's just a step in the process. So the habit here is emotional resilience, trusting the process enough to push through the awkward middle phase. An experienced artist understands that a painting is a series of corrections. It can't be perfect. It's not like a printer where the image appears line by line perfectly, and it's more like something that appears very blurry and imperfect and somehow is chiseled. So if you expect a mess, you give yourself the permission to keep making bold moves until the piece finally clicks into place. So you need to trust that the ugly phase is something that is part of the process. Finishing with a good cleanup session. The discipline of a master extends to the cleanup. It's tempting to leave your palette messy for tomorrow, but every time you leave some dried oil paint, it's really the enemy of a fresh start. You want to finish your session leaving the next one a breeze to start again. I like to make it a ritual to scrap my palette completely clean and organize my brushes for the next day. This isn't just about being tidy, it's a sort of a psychological reset. I'm finished with my session, I can clean up everything, make sure that I don't have paint all over the place, so that I can start the next day with a clean, organized workspace that will allow me to approach the canvas with a clear mind next time I pick up a brush. I really hate the feeling of having to start my painting session by scraping some of the dirt that I left from the day before. If you have to spend those hours of cleanup before you even get to paint, you're discouraging yourself before you even start. You've already sapped your creative energy before you've even begun. So that's it for this video, my friends. If you liked it, you will probably also like this one. I'll see you there. And as always, my friends, joy and inspiration to you. Bye.